Good morning, second grade friends. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. We are going to be reading books this week that are called nonfiction narrative. We've also read memory stories that are narratives based on Tommy DePaulo's book, and then all last week we read different memory stories about real memories that those authors had from when they were children. This week, the narrative, since they're nonfiction, they're a little bit different. So they're going to be about real things. Not that the memories weren't. I mean real things that you might see in nature. So although they look like fiction books, so here's our book for the day, right? These aren't pictures. These are still illustrations. It's going to teach us real life facts. So that's where nonfiction comes in. Nonfiction is a book that teaches you about real things. So if I wanted to learn more about eagles, remember that eagle book that Mrs. Risen read to you? That was a nonfiction book. So this is a nonfiction narrative book. The title of today's book is called Cactus Hotel. And a cactus is a kind of plant. And a hotel is a place that you can stay overnight when you are traveling. So I wonder what a cactus hotel is. I see tons of animals around the border. So what prediction do you have? Cactus hotel, animals. I know that cactuses normally grow in a place called the desert. You'll notice that in my book, I've already read it. I've written down, or I've written some questions or I wonders on Post-it notes. And I encourage you to do that anytime you read, right? If you are reading a book and you come across a word that is hard or you don't know what it means, write it down. Because then when you have time, you can go back and look up what it means. Or you can ask a grown-up what it means. You can also write I wonders, make predictions, and then see if your predictions or wonders come true. All right, here we go. Cactus Hotel. On a hot, dry day in the desert, a bright red fruit falls from a tall saguaro cactus. Plop. It splits apart on the sandy floor. 2,000 black seeds glisten in the sunlight. And on my Post-it it says, what do you think is going to happen to the seeds? So the fruit has split open, the seeds are exposed. What do you think will happen? When the air cools in the evening, an old pack rat comes out and eats the juicy fruit. Then he skitters across the land. A seed left clinging to his whiskers falls off the palo verde tree. It is a good place for the seed to drop. A spotted ground squirrel looking for something to eat does not see it. A house finch chirping high in the palo verde does not see it. So if you look, there's the finch and the squirrel. Why do you think it's important that the squirrel and finch don't see the seed? There's the little seed. Really small. Why do you think it might be important that they don't see it? After many dry days, a heavy rain falls on the desert. Soon a young cactus sprouts up from the ground. Slowly, slowly, the seedling grows. The palo verde protects it from the hot summer sun and cold winter nights. After 10 years, the cactus is only 4 inches high. Oh my goodness, you guys. After 10 years, the cactus is like smaller than a Sharpie. That's not very big at all. So it grows so slow. I bet it grows slow because in the desert, there's not a lot of water. And for plants to grow, you need sunlight and water. There's a lot of sunlight in a desert, but not a lot of water. So I wonder if that's one of the reasons why it grows so slow. It is just big enough for a desert ant to climb its spiny sides. After a rainstorm, when the desert blooms with color, the cactus pulls in water with its long roots and looks fat. A young pack rat stops to drink the water that drips off the tree. Then she scurries off, looking for a dry place to make a nest. See the fat little cactus? When there is no rain, the cactus uses up the water it has stored inside and looks thin. The Palo Verde loses its tiny leaves, but there is always some shade for the cactus below. After 25 years, the cactus is 2 feet tall. A jackrabbit cools off beside it and gnaws on the green pulp. But when a coyote moves in the distance, the jackrabbit disappears into a nearby hole. All right, so how does this cactus help the jackrabbit? It says a jackrabbit cools off beside it and gnaws on the green pulp. So I hear that it helps the rabbit in 2 ways. It provides some shade for the rabbit, and it also provides some food for the rabbit. And man, this guy grows so slow. It's only 2 feet tall after 25 years. Grows way slower than a person. After 50 years, the cactus stands 10 feet tall and looks straight and strong beside the old Palo Verde. For the very first time, brilliant white and yellow flowers appear at the top of the cactus. Every spring from now on, the flowers will open for only one night and then close in the heat of the day. They beckon like a welcoming signal across the desert. At different times of the day, and night birds, bees, and bats come for the nectar. So it just listed several animals that benefit from it. The flowers dry up, and after a month of bright red fruit filled with black seeds is ripe and ready. A gila woodpecker comes to eat. He looks around the cactus and decides to stay. He has found the perfect place in the desert to begin a new hotel. I wonder what he will do to make a hotel. He's landed on our now tall 10-foot cactus. How's he going to make a hotel? The woodpecker goes right to work, and the only tool he uses is his long, hard beak. He bores into the flesh of the cactus. He digs deep inside to make a space that is comfortable and roomy. The cactus is not harmed. It forms a tough scab around the hole to protect itself from drying out. The woodpecker gets a weatherproof nest that is shady on hot days and warm and insulated on frosty nights. And the cactus gets something in return. The woodpecker likes to eat the insects that can bring disease to the cactus. That's called a symbiotic relationship. They both get something from one another. The woodpecker gets a safe place, and the cactus gets help keeping disease away. After 60 years, the Cactus Hotel is 18 feet tall. To add more space, it begins to grow an arm. A woodpecker has a new hole in the trunk. Farther up, a white-winged dove makes a nest on the arm. And down below, an old hole is discovered by an elf owl. The birds feel safe living high in a prickly plant where nothing can reach them. All around the desert, there are holes of every size for ants and mice and lizards and snakes, rabbits and foxes. After 150 years, there are holes of every size in the cactus too. The giant plant has finally stopped growing. It is 50 feet tall with 7 long branches, and it weighs 8 tons, about as much as 5 cars. That's pretty amazing. Everybody wants to live in the Cactus Hotel. Birds lay eggs and pack rats raise their young. Even insects and bats live there. When one animal moves out, another moves in. And every spring they come for a very special treat of nectar and juicy red fruit. Finally, after 200 years, the old cactus sways in a gust of wind and falls with a thud to the sandy floor. Its great thorny arms crumble in the crash. The creatures that lived up high must find other homes, but those that prefer to live down low move right in. A millipede, a scorpion, and many ants and termites quickly find homes in the toppled hotel. After many months, all that remains are the wooden ribs that supported the cactus while it stood so tall. A collared lizard dashes over the top looking for insects. A ground snake huddles in the shade below. All around there is a forest of cacti slowly growing in the desert. Through hot and cold, wet and dry, some will survive long enough to become other cactus hotels. How neat is that? So this is a real cactus. This happens in real life. So maybe in Epic today, you go on Epic and research cactus. Maybe they have some books on it. And I will also do a writing prompt down below because a lot of animals make their home in the cactus. And so I want you to do a little art activity to go along with that. All right, have a good rest of your day, and I will see you later.